the Chief of the Army Staff, General Upendra Dwivedi, President AWA, Mrs. Sunita Dwivedi, ex-Chiefs of Army Staff, General Naravne, Mrs. Naravne, General Kapoor and Mrs. Kirti Kapoor, ex-CISC Air Marshal Krishna and Mrs. Krishna, General Khandare, General A.K. Singh, General Y.K. Joshi, regimental elders, Mrs. Damayanti Tambe, Director of the Shri Ram Schools, Manika Ma'am, Ipshita Sengupta, Shiv Arur and Mr. Srinjoy, Lokesh Nethani, Vikas Minhas, friends and relatives, good evening to all of you. I begin with gratitude, as I should, to the first couple of the Indian Army, General and Mrs. Dwivedi, for being just the way they are. It's not about the book, it's just about the way they are. Kind, gentle and caring, and for extending their love and support to us as a family through the last 2 decades. Welcome, General Dwivedi. I've just started. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to each and every person sitting in the audience for having spared time to be with us this evening. Thank you for being here. This means a whole lot to Ashna and me. We are here for the book, and there wouldn't have been one if Priya Kapoor and Roli Books hadn't believed in my story. Gratitude to Priya Kapoor and her team. It is surely not a literary marvel, but a work of heart. So as you will turn the pages of the book, it's probably something that you and me all the time feel as military spouses. So the book. I'm a soldier's wife. Well, we got married in the year 1996, and I have been a soldier's wife since that glorious day. But these words, they were spoken right after the last rites of my husband. When I was asked by media and I said I'm a soldier's wife, I must give him a smiling send-off. Never ever have I felt this more profoundly that I need to be the soldier's wife than the time when the soldier was gone. This has started on a serious note, and so does the book. It starts with the day when we lost him, along with all the others in the CDS chopper crash, and the rest is history. However, the subtitle of the book, The Life and Love of Tony Litter, the book is merely that, the life and love of Tony Litter. An eternal romantic at heart, I love love stories, and my own is my favorite. This book is a simple story of true love, a life well lived with precious moments and memories. As a fond wife, I always believed that Tony was hugely special, but that may mean he was special to me. It is only after he went that I realized he was so special to so many people. So many people had a story with him, and that gave me the reason to recall and record my life with him. It is a simple no-fuss book. In fact, you will find yourself in any of the chapters. It's just like the Jane and John next door. They are all relatable to any couple, especially the army ones, for it has glimpses of life as it passes us by, station to station, box by box, and in earlier days, hold all by hold all. Remember I said life and love of Tony Litter? Nowhere did I say loss. Yes, we lost him in the physical form, but 3 years after that day, I can say he's always with me. These years have taught me that love may not mean togetherness. How else would you explain Radha Krishna or Meera and Krishna? True love is faith and devotion, something I can never be short of where Tony is concerned. True love is in the form of Nandi, who has patience, complete surrender, at the door of the Shiv temple, unquestioningly waiting for the Lord. True love is in the form of Hanuman, who is pleased only by the mere mention of Ram. Do you know how many times you say Ram when you chant the Hanuman Chalisa? So love is independent of physical presence. These analogies are only to justify my own faith in the universe and its plan for me, not to glorify Tony to be a god or anything. And as you turn the pages, you will find all aspects of a healthy relationship with all its nuances. The only thing is, we barely ever argued. To which it was a simple equation that I had, which I teased him with, that you know what, we are in love with the same person. I love you and you love you. As a matter of fact, when we were courting, his classmates used to say, Geetika talks like Lucky. In fact, she says something and looks towards him for validation. When we got married, I was told by many elders of the Paltan, Hamara sabse honar beta hai. Until one day, our CEO's wife, and she's sitting right here, Mrs. Bhatnagar, she said, वो जैसा है, ये बिल्कुल वैसी है. And that was music to my ears. When I was in college, I had a Ghalib couplet on my wall. मुझ में जो कुछ अच्छा है, सब उसका है. मेरा जितना चर्चा है, सब उसका है. मेरी आंखें उसके नूर से रोशन हैं. इन्होंने जो कुछ देखा है, सब उसका है. जितनी बार मैं टूटा हूँ, वो टूटा था. इधर उधर जो बिखरा है, सब उसका है. Within 12 hours of his passing, I reminded myself of this and told myself, if I break down and shatter into pieces, it'll be pieces of him. And that I will not tolerate. So I will collect him within me and reflect him within me. Heaven knows it that I have tried my best to live with that spirit of the soldier within me. Yes, yes, I've had to reset my mind to think of a tomorrow without him. But the love we had will keep me warm forever. And that love comes to me in the form of all of you sitting here. Each one of you in this very carefully curated audience is here for the love of Tony Little, ably led by the caring first couple themselves, who are role models in simplicity and care. A very special thanks to our regimental elders who have made it convenient to attend. Many have travelled for this. My friends Subin, Gautam, Anil and Smita, Sandeep Behel, Nidhi, Archana and family who have travelled from far and wide to be here. Friends from the Fauji fraternity who have kept Ashna and me in the hollow of their hands. Members of the Shri Ram School, the institution where I find purpose and discover myself each day. Thank you for who you are and what you do. There are courses and there are courses, but there is only one HC40. This set of people who were brought together by karma in Mau many years ago have withstood all the tests of time and have become the backbone which gives strength to one and all. Apart from HC40, there are Rajiv and Savita, Pratik and Shaini Sharma, General Bhavneesh and Shalu, Prasanna and Archana, the awesome foursome, the inseparables, Sonali Kashyap, names of groups which will come alive as you turn the pages of the book. Heartfelt gratitude to each one of you. AWA and its outreach and dependability is something that never ceases to amaze me. Mrs. Sunita Dwivedi, President AWA and ex-presidents AWA, my heartfelt thanks to the way you make everyone feel held, respected and loved. Tony's family, Kitty Didi, Ria and Shrivats, and my parents, Brigadier and Mrs. Duggal, sister, brother-in-law, Masis and their husbands, and my loving cousins, make my days so full of life and laughter. And now I speak to the outfit which gives us our identity, makes us who we are. If we look at life, each one of us strives for only two things, identity and relevance. Tony gave me both of these, identity and relevance. My most respectful salute to the outfit which gave him these two things. His Paltan, the finest outfit of the Indian Army, 2nd Battalion of the Jammu and Kashmir Rifles Bodyguard. I can never say enough about the men. Is a book written on our unit and I can only echo that. Thank you to the CO for being here himself amongst many ex-COs and officers of the unit. As we say in Bodyguard, some of us are gone and some of us are far. But all of us are proud of just who we are. We the Bodyguard. So read the book, identify with places and parts within you in the pages as you surely will. Laugh and cry with me as you read. But being the soldier's wife has taught me the harshest lessons in life. Tony taught me, don't turn your back on the enemy. Be a foot slogger infantryman's wife. Here when grief came calling, I opened the door to it, looked at it in the eye, adopted it, adapted it, and today I own my grief. I carry it with me on my sleeve. Many of you have known my love for the regiment. My house has always been painted in regimental colors. I always wear the regimental colors to any special occasion. Jack ki lal peeli parcham. But today, I have chosen thoughtfully. I have chosen the colors of the Indian Army, maroon and gold, denying and defying the norm that my single status should lead me to wear lighter shades. But why would I do that if my husband has adorned me with the colors of the national flag? I leave you with this thought. Have a good evening. Jai Durge, Jai Jack, Jai Hind.
Ladies and gentlemen, and I see members of the media also, right sitting here in front. Jai Hind, a very good evening to all of you. Today I have chosen to be in the uniform because when I saw the book, I found that the photograph was also in uniform. So I decided to change tack and come in uniform for that purpose. It's a profound honor for me to stand before this illustrious gathering today on the solemn occasion of the book launch of a dear friend and of course a regimental colleague, late Brigadier Lakhbinder Singh, Sena Medal, Vishisht Seva Medal. This volume, aptly titled The Soldier's Wife, lovingly authored by his wife Ms. Geetika, encapsulates not just the life of a soldier, but the essence of a devoted husband, a cherished father, an aspiring leader of the Indian Army in general, and Jammu and Kashmir Rifles, of course, the regiment in particular. Now this evening I am also reminded of the 4 essentials which are called as the C's of leadership that I always profess. I call them the 4 C's, that is the character, competence, conduct and commitment. And this I gave out as a general officer, that is after taking over as a chief. It may not be an exaggeration if I mention here that probably these 4 C's were inspired by the personality of Lakhbinder, a man whose life was a testament to courage, integrity, achievements and unwavering commitment to the profession of arms. His sudden departure, along with the visionary first Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat, in the tragic crash, leaves an indelible void in the hearts of all who knew him and admired the values he stood for. Though it's over 3 years now, but Tony's vibrant face and his fond memories linger. Being a regimental officer, I knew Tony as Brigadier Lakhbinder. I used to always call him Lakhbinder. Tony I had left for Geetika. Was fondly called not just as a brigadier, but I have seen him as a major, colonel, brigadier, and of course as a prospective general. And he had told me where is he going, but it's too late to talk about that. Thus I speak with the conviction that he epitomized the 3 A's that make a good officer, that is attitude, adaptability, and then ability, that is in that order. To put it simply, he was what we call a bright spark who always stood out. Brigadier Leader was just not an excellent soldier. As you are aware, he was awarded the Sena Medal for gallantry very early in his career. He was a consummate professional whose immense knowledge and keen insights were admired by his superiors, peers and subordinates alike. His assignments speak for themselves. Instructor at NDA, Adjutant IMA, Director in the MO Directorate, CO in a UN mission, Defense Attaché at Kazakhstan, and finally he handpicked, that is the CDS handpicked him to be the DA, or what Air Force may fondly call as the CDS wingman. Add to it, as Ms. Leader too has referred in her book, if Tony was on a panel or a course, he ought to be the best. He topped most courses like the motor course, D&M course, BTech degree course, junior command course and staff college. A very rare feat indeed. Sunita and self met the couple, if I can say that as a couple, for the first time when Tony was attending the senior command course. Very fond memories, ups and downs in their family, if I can say that, during that time. But I think that is the time we developed a deep understanding and respect for each other. And that has continued thereafter throughout. When I was Deputy Chief ISNC, I remember that he used to be with General Rawat and he used to come and sit in my office. And he used to sit on a side, he never used to disturb me of anything. But after some time, after 15-20 minutes, half an hour, when I used to get some break, I used to say, let's have a cup of tea. And with him, I could discuss anything on this earth, whether it's a tactical or geostrategic. So that was his, if I can say that, the range of thought process. And that helped me a lot in framing my thought process at later stage. Now, beyond his professional achievements, it was his humanity that truly set him apart. A cheerful and towering personality, devoted family man, Brigadier Linder wore many hats with grace. He could gel with generals, colonels, majors, captains, Subedar majors and Havaldars with equal ease. Today, which happens to be the birthday of Geetika, many happy returns. So as we release this book, we also celebrate not just Brigadier Linder's service, but also the love and devotion that Miss Geetika has poured into their memoir. Miss Linder's keen observations, paired with her unwavering love, paint a vivid portrait of a man who was as compassionate as he was courageous. Tony was evidently backed by an all-rounder life partner in Miss Geetika. Who can forget the poise with which she conducted herself in the aftermath of the tragedy, and how, as a true AVA member, she reached out to provide solace to other ladies in their moment of extreme grief, reminiscent of a CEO's wife in the Hollywood movie We Were Soldiers. And Self and Sunita were witness to all these actions at that point of time. And of course, Ashna, lovely daughter, she's an author in her own right and has bettered her mother by publishing a book in 2021 itself. And we do share a common aspiration, that is politics. And when we went to their home, I remember that others were talking in a separate room and Self and Ashna were in a next room and talking about the politics. And what she has assured me, that when she settled down in the politics, she will keep me as an advisor. So on this solemn occasion, I can't but help remembering the exemplary lives of General Mrs. Rawat and also of Colonel Harjinder, the Air Force pilots and the commandos who were part of this tragic accident. Finally, I once again express my heartfelt gratitude to Ms. Geetika for her courage and dedication in creating this poignant memory of her husband. Her flair for writing is very evident, and this can probably be attributed to the numerous articles she had contributed and her roles in the editorial boards of Owl Magazine, Hood, India Journal, etc. If I may take the liberty to compare, the book is somewhat Chetan Bhagatish. Basically, when you pick up, you can't get up till the time you don't finish. So it's not very voluminous, 200 odd pages, a gripping narrative, crisp expression, heartfelt sentiments, and very straightforward talk. So I must also compliment the publishing team for taking up this noble project and accomplishing it with great finesse. And to you all present here this evening for making it to this event in such large numbers, a most befitting tribute to our fallen friend Tony. Thank you and Jai Hind. Thank you once again.